Hello, everybody. Today I thought I'll just talk about the films I have watched for February. I haven't done one of these before, brand new. I can't stole it from other YouTubers like Mondo Chill Effect Movies and Leon Talks Film. Sorry guys, just thought I'd just do the same videos because it's kind of fun. It looks fun. What have I watched in February? So bear in mind, this is going to be a very, very kind of short list because I saw Leon Talks Films' new video and 100 films, Leon, seriously, nowhere near. I haven't watched nowhere near that many films. So yeah, let's get into this one and let's kick it off with a really fucking good film, Parasite. I watched Parasite this month in February. I didn't really have any idea going in. I went into this blind, and it didn't really take my fancy originally when I heard just the basic, very thin, basic synopsis of it. Didn't really take my fancy. But then I had numerous people go to me, Jason, you need to watch this film. It's absolutely crazy good. So I was like, cool, I'll buy the Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray and I watched it. And holy fucking shit, guys, this film is absolutely outstanding. Unbelievable in its technical feats. Cinematography is fantastic. The acting is top tier. The narrative is engaging, engrossing, and captivating. And you just want to see what happens to all these characters. You want to see where this goes, what the end game is here, because it's so engaging. And the narrative is so simple, but the director makes it work so well. And yeah, everything about this film is sublime. I love this movie. It's made its way into my top films of all time list straight away. When those credits rolled, I was like, that was something special. And I do mean that. It's really a special film that everyone needs to check out. It's incredible. And it won Best Picture at the Oscars. And when a film has that kind of like has hit that kind of level where it's winning Oscars for the quality of the film, it has a certain hype to it, and not many films meet that hype. But Parasite exceeded that hype for me. It was unbelievable in what it did and how it delivered it and how it presented it. Everything about this film is fantastic, and I really encourage everyone to check it out. It's fantastic. Next up, I watched a Dragon Ball Z film called Tree of Might. I've not really watched the Dragon Ball Z films in the longest time, so I've been picking up the movies on Blu-ray recently, and I've been just watching through them. So I started off with Tree of Might. Not watched it in a while. It's a fan favourite in the Dragon Ball community for the Dragon Ball movies. I watched it. It's alright. It's nothing special in my opinion. I don't know whether it's because it's kind of old, it's kind of dated, it's not in the current canon of Dragon Ball, it's not within the current storyline of Dragon Ball, that I just didn't get anything out of it. I don't know, maybe you will if you're a Dragon Ball fan. If you're an anime fan, maybe you'll find something to enjoy, but I felt like it was a bit of a slog. I didn't really care about the narrative, and I just thought it was a bit meh. So yeah, didn't go much on that one. Next up, we have a film called Color Out of Space, a Lovecraft story once again retold. I think this story in particular has been retold numerous times within media, but yeah, a really good mind-bending horror film that I really recommended. I really enjoyed it as well. You've got the crazy Nick Cage rage in this film, which is entertaining as all hell. Basically, the film is about a family on a farm, and this weird purple rock comes crashing down, and it starts to like fuck with everything. It starts to make things go all this weird kind of, starts to bleed like technicolor into the world, and starts to affect the minds of the family living at this farm, and starts to affect time and space itself. And it just basically makes your mind go to mush. Basically, made my mind go to mush. I guarantee it. I think this film is beautiful in its visuals. It's got a beautiful color palette, hence the story is color out of space. But it's got wonderful color palette. I think the performances are fantastic. You don't really know what's going on with the rock, and the color infects everything. You don't really understand what is really going on, and the ending was just like batshit insanity, and I still didn't understand what was going on. Just one of those films that is just really entertaining from start to finish and keeps you guessing till the end. And even after the credits rolled, I was like, what the hell happened? Holy fuck my brain. As much as I really enjoyed this film, I think it is going to be maybe just like a one-time watch for me. It's just like, it is very kind of just like, it really like messes with your head a little bit. And it did for me. It really kind of fucking just like got under your skin a little bit. It just had this kind of thing where when you start trying to piece things together in the story, it gets very, very mind fucky. And yeah, I just feel for me it's just a really, really entertaining one-time watch, and I would recommend it to everybody who's into their cosmic horror, because it's a very, very good film. Very good film. And yeah, I think you should watch it. Next film I watched was another Lovecraftian movie, horror film, called The Void. The Void is fucking awesome. I'm just going to put it that way. It is a Lovecraftian horror film, cosmic horror, set in this hospital where shit absolutely fucking goes down. It's got a lot of Thing vibes, a lot of practical effects, creature effects. Creatures in this, literally, there was a point in this film where I was just like, what the fuck is that? That's the kind of batshit craziness you get in this movie. Really enjoyed this one. Very, very good film. Great practical effects throughout. I like the narrative. The ending is ambiguous and weird and fucking mindfucky. Kind of like Colour Out of Space, as Lovecraftian tends to be. But yeah, it's just a really good horror movie. Some super messed up moments in it as well. It is quite violent in it. It is mind-bendy. And exactly, again, the creatures, some of the creatures in this are just like, what the fuck are you? That's what it's like. Yeah, The Void is really good. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it to anyone. Again, like Colour Out of Space, anyone that's into Lovecraft and Lovecraftian stories would really enjoy this. Even if you're not into Lovecraftian stuff, I think if you're into body horror and films like The Thing, I think you'll find something to really enjoy with The Void. I think it's a really entertaining film. I got a thing about films that kind of stay in one location. They know what they're doing with their budget. They make it work with what they have, and I think a lot of the strongest films do that, and this is no exception. The Void is excellent. The next two I watched were the two anime films from the 80s, which is Wicked City and Demon City Shinjuku. Wicked City is a fantastic adult-orientated anime film with fantastic animation and a really good narrative. It's typical anime narrative, very Japanese in its core, but it's entertaining, it's violent as all hell, and the version I got on Blu-ray is super, super uncut. So yeah, you're in for a fucking messed up stuff in this movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I've loved it since I was a kid. It's just fantastic. It's about a guy named Taki. He is a black guard. They are people from the human side that are there to stop the people from the demon side from coming over and basically causing shit. The story basically revolves around Taki teaming up with a blackguard from the other world, so a demon blackguard, and they have to team up to escort this ancient old man who's been part of this whole thing for generations, and he is important because he is there to strike a peace treaty for both worlds, so both worlds can be at peace. It's just a really, really good animated, violent as fuck movie that I think a lot of people might enjoy. If you've not really dabbled your toes into anime, these earlier 80s films that are not really for children, they are really, really good, and I highly recommend it. Moving on to Demon City Shinjuku, I didn't think it was that good on a rewatch. It's a bit crap, to be honest. Plus, my Blu-ray doesn't have the original Japanese audio, which is really unfortunate because the English dub, the 80s English dub that they have on that Blu-ray is atrocious. Really bad dub, and yeah, I just didn't think the film was very good. Demon City Shinjuku considers a man who has struck a deal with demons, basically to allow them to cross over to our worlds, and it is just typical good versus evil kind of storytelling. But on a rewatch, like I remember used to loving this when I was a kid, but on a rewatch, it's just not very good. The dub is awful, and I just didn't find it engaging on the rewatch. I was kind of bored, to be fair. Next film I watched would have been Monster Hunter, the new film from Paul W.S. Anderson. Yeah, I made a review of this on the channel. You can check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, I just found this film to be very, 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 very woefully mediocre. I think the film is very strikingly good looking. I think it's a very well made film in terms of its look, presentation, cinematography, all really good. The colour grading, the colour choices are really well done, especially considering the film takes place in a desert. They make the desert look good. So that's always a good thing, right? If they can make the most blandest, boring location ever look good, you're on the right track. Unfortunately, aside from its visual flair, the film has nothing else for it. The characters are uninteresting, you don't care about them whatsoever. The narrative is bare bones and barely exists. It's essentially characters get transported to the Monster Hunter world, they want to get home. That's the storyline. There's nothing else really to it. The film tries to shoehorn this relationship and build this friendship between two characters. It's not engaging. You don't care about their friendship. You don't care about them. It's just, they're there. Great. Awesome. They're friends now. Great. Don't care. There's basically no monster hunting in this film. I didn't mention this in my review, but there's no monster hunting in this movie. There's one instance where they hunt a monster. One. The film's called Monster Hunter and they do it once. They hunt monsters once. It's not really hunting it. It's really kind of just luring it out. And that's it. That's all they do. They lure it out to kill it, so it's not a problem anymore. It's not really hunting monsters in this film. And yeah, I just thought it was just... There's loads of issues I have with the film as well, concerning later on in the film meeting characters. It's just mediocre, and I think it could have been a lot better considering the visual flair of the film. The visuals draw you in. It looks really good, but everything else is a bit meh. Didn't like it. Wouldn't recommend it. It's alright if you want a bit of a popcorn, turn your brain off movie, but aside from that, it's not even worth it. So, following probably the most mediocre film I watched this February, I moved on to probably the best film I've seen in a long time, which is Seven, the 1995 David Fincher dark, brutal crime thriller starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Now, I don't know why it took me so long to see this film. I don't know what stopped me there, but I watched it for the first time last month in February. What a great film this was. You guys all probably know about this film. You've probably seen it dozens of times. But for me, and I watched it for the first time, my mind was blown. I think every little subtle detail about this film is sublime. The fact that reading up on this film in particular, especially the reviews of the time when it came out, were like, oh, it's overly, graphic, it's really violent. And it's really weird because there's not really that much in terms of physical graphic violence on screen. This film, with its with the murders that take place in this film, it's all after the fact. It's all suggestive, and it makes your imagination fill in the blanks, and that's what makes this film fucking just bleak as hell, because your imagination is going to think up the worst thing. But sometimes you don't need, your imagination doesn't need to make our stuff up, because the little nuances and subtlety that this film give you, you already know. You already know how horrific this murder was just by a picture. For example, the lust kill, obviously all suggested, it's never shown on screen, but that, as soon as you see that picture of that implement of death, you know that fucking hell, it's horrific. There's loads of moments in this film that are quite just foreboding. The sloth moment is just, what the hell, that's just horrible. There's some horrible moments, and the film just goes from horrible moment to horrible moment to the ending, which is the most bleakest, most, you kind of like just feel horrible at the end. One of the greatest endings to a film ever, in my opinion. One of the greatest endings to a film. I don't think we're going to see an ending that well done for a long time. I think it's incredible. The whole film is full of subtlety and connect the dots kind of storytelling, and it's incredibly well done. A lot of the things in this film are just incredible. I can go on about this film for ages, man. Like, it blew my mind. So I'm a guy that just watched Seven for the first time in 2021. A film that came out, 26 years ago. And my mind is melting. Like, so good. Incredible. It's got oppressive tone, great acting. Brad Pitt's probably his best role, I think, in my opinion. He's probably the best movie he's been in, and his best performance, in my opinion. Just everything about it. Just that dark and just oppressive tonality throughout the film, with one of the greatest endings of all time. Yeah, moving on to probably one of the worst films. So after watching Seven, I was in the market. I wanted that dark crime thriller vibe again. But, without watching Seven again, of course. But yeah, I wanted to see another film of the same ilk, and I chose very unwisely and chose a film called Horseman. Now, Horseman is a 2006 film, crime thriller movie, starring Dennis Quaid. Quite like Dennis Quaid, I think he's decent. He's in Dragonheart. I love Dragonheart. But yeah, Horseman stars Dennis Quaid, and it's basically couldn't be more Seven if it tried, and not in a good way, in the worst kind of way. So take out the deadly sins aspect of Seven, replace it with the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and that's your film. But instead of being a subtle, nuanced, well-written, excellently paced thriller, Horseman is a convoluted mess of a film that doesn't know what it really wants to be, and that's where it just fails from the get-go throughout the whole runtime. And I feel whereas Seven had a incredible ending and they kept it on that dark tonality, that heart-wrenching ending to that film, this film tries to do the same thing but fails because the film is such a mess and it's so convoluted, and they try so hard to be edgy and dark and brutal. The ending is just horseshit. It's so bad. It's so bad. Basically, there's a forum of children where their parents aren't paying attention to them. So the children kind of either commit these horrendous crimes or commit suicide to make their parents, take note. And it's fucking awful. It's like, there's nothing in this film that led to this. This seems like it came out of like a complete out of their arse. Like,
okay, we haven't got an ending. Nothing makes sense in this film. Let's just do this completely utter dog shit ending.
And it was utter shite. So yeah, Horseman, I cannot recommend it. It's fucking dreadful. It's awful. It's a mess it's badly written. It's acted fine. But yeah, it's just, the story's a mess. Awful. Don't recommend that film at all. It's fucking dreadful. those are the films that I watched in February. I was going to get the Wrong Turn remake in there at some point, but I just never got round to it. So, anyway, as always, do me a favour, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel, helps my channel grow, and it helps my videos get spread around the YouTube world, as they say. And, you know, maybe subscribe. Looked on my analytics recently, and apparently 80% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed. So please, if you enjoy my content and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, please. It would be very nice. It'd make me feel good in these dark times. Anyway, so as always, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the films that I watched this month, and be sure to add in the films that you watched this month. Did you watch any good ones? Did you watch so many shit ones like Horseman like I did? Let me know in the comments. As always, I have been Jason, and I am out. What's in the box? What's in the damn box?